everybody, I'm Quinn.
And I'm Scott, and it's time for the Almost Friday show for April 26, 2012.
And off the press this week, Nintendo's lost a whole ton of money.
Surprise! The once powerful gaming company has decided that no one likes their games anymore, and they're just losing money everywhere.
Hint, hint, mobile phones are increasing.
Yeah, maybe that has something to do with it.
Just a bit.
And we're going to Tech Insight. We're talking about the syncing market. The cloud storage market has exploded this week. Google Drive launched, like we talked about last week, and Skydrive became relevant, like we talked about 2 weeks ago.
It's true, I'm excited. I got my Skydrive up all running now because stuff is good.
Yeah, so details on that coming up.
In science this week, we're taking a look at mining asteroids for gold.
And water.
And other things.
And iron and stuff, and yeah, sending it back here. Sam and I'll give you the lowdown because Sean's not here, so it's kind of like not Sean's Mad Science this week.
Yeah. And in Behind the Lens this week, we're taking a look at the Nikon P510. It's an all-in-one camera that really does a little bit of everything.
Yeah, don't let the name scare you away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But without further ado, it's time for Off the Press.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Off the Press this week. We're starting off with a new segment called Things to Throw Your Money At.
Because we realized we can't actually review comics.
Because we only buy things we're pretty sure we like.
Mm-hmm. And the chances of us buying things that are huge disappointments are pretty slim.
So, we're going to start off with Benign Kingdom. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Holy crap.
It features the work of Emin Dam, Beccy, I can't say her last name because it's German, Casey Green, and Yuko Ota, who all are pretty well known in and around the internet.
Even if you don't know their names, you've probably seen a couple of pieces of their art floating around, because at least one piece from each of these artists have made their rounds on the blog and Reddit and Tumblr and all that stuff.
Pretty great. So this is the hardcover version. It's a compilation book. They did a Kickstarter for it, which I jumped right on. And it's basically absolutely gorgeous. It's embossed on the front. It comes with a little ribbon bookmark. It's full color and was sold as 4 separate books or as this glorious piece of hardcover magic. Basically, it features original artwork and some fan art from pretty much everybody. This is some of Evan Dam's stuff. He does a lot of creature creation and actually is currently running a Tumblr that goes through the evolution of an animal that they made up, so that's a lot of fun. Beccy does probably the single cutest art ever in existence ever. She does tiny kitten teeth. It even sounds cute on its own.
Adorable.
It's pretty adorable. Mr. Casey Green of the Gun Show comic.
Cool monsters and stuff.
Cool monsters and stuff. And humor. Just the funniest guy. And then Yuko Ota of Johnny Wander fame.
Who I thought was a dude for the longest time until I saw a photo of her, and I'm like, oh, that's a girl. That explains the name. All right, moving on.
Yeah. Doesn't it just a little bit? So this retails for $90 actually, currently. I paid $80 for it because I got in on the Kickstarter campaign. But if you felt like picking it up, it's durable. It's got like this finish is kind of leathery. It's all embossed and stuff. And it's just absolutely beautiful. So I would recommend picking that up.
And it also comes with 4 postcards because you did the Kickstarter?
I did the Kickstarters, so I got little postcards, and I also got a PDF copy so I can keep it on my computer, and it's awesome.
The very, very pretty book.
These guys know how to do the internet.
They know how to do their, the internet.
Yep, they know how to do the internet. Because I think it was funded in like 8 hours.
Holy crap, that's really fast.
Yeah, isn't it?
Moving on now to...
Instead of making a lot of money...
How about losing a lot of money?
Oh, Nintendo.
Oh, Nintendo.
We grew up on you.
Yeah.
You were beautiful. And now you've fallen.
And then smartphones happened.
So Nintendo recently reported a loss of approximately $460 million in U.S. funds of the last fiscal year, which is a fall of about 37%. They blame it on the fact that the 3DS was too expensive and so no one was buying it, and so they dropped the price and it was below cost, so they were actually losing money on every unit they sold, as well as the underselling of the Wii.
Which is on its last legs.
Frankly.
Yeah. So, a lot of the 3DS's not gonna say downfall, but the reason it doesn't sell very well is because games on it are like $20, $30, $40 as opposed to, the exact same game on the iPhone is $10 at the most.
Yeah.
So
So what they really need to do is put Pokemon on the iPhone.
I would really, really consider switching to the iPhone if Nintendo released the whole suite of games for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even at $10 a pop, I would buy all of them.
Yeah, so their current plan is they're hoping that the Wii U is going to bring them back up to speed. I can't see that happening, honestly.
No.
It's like the Wii was fun, but like you could get a Kinect and a new Xbox for approximately...
Yeah, you can get a Kinect with an Xbox for $300. You can get a PlayStation with the Move if you're so
into
inclined
that.
to get that for about $300 as well. So, unless the Wii U is priced really well, which I don't think it'll be priced $200 out of the gate,
Especially with their new tablet-y thingy
Yeah.
that they think is so cool.
the tablet thing on its own probably like $250.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, Nintendo,
I will buy every
Ouch.
single Pokemon title that you put out, but
Mhm.
you're really letting yourself down here.
yeah, I guess, rethink where you want to go as a company.
Because I don't want you to die.
I was gonna say be like Sega, but you know what?
Don't be like
no,
Sega.
don't. Just forget all about it. Speaking of all the Pokemon titles,
Haha, more trailers.
more trailers for Pokemon Black and White 2
in Japanese.
in Japanese. This time showing gameplay
Woohoo!
with some voiceover that I don't understand.
Yeah, so
We
it's
don't-
not really that spoilery because we have no
No.
idea what's going on.
And we don't speak Japanese, but if you do, or if you can read Japanese, go watch the trailer, and it looks pretty sweet.
Yep.
It looks, like any other Pokemon game, but new Pokemon games. Also, since this game is being released for the DS, not the 3DS,
Yeah.
but there are some mini games / add-on content that is being released for the 3DS that also work with Black and White 2.
So if
Um,
you're 10 and
Yeah.
not embarrassed by actively playing AR games in public, then they're pretty cool looking.
Totally.
Like they actually look pretty cool.
The first one is an AR game, so basically, if you don't know AR games, you turn on the camera and you're interacting with the real world / your game.
Yeah.
This first game looks like you're catching Pokemon with like a laser or something.
Yeah.
There's
I
like
don't
2
know.
screenshots of it out.
It's
but
Amy.
It is really Amy. You're like spin
Yeah.
around and stuff. But the Pokemon that you can catch in this game, you bring them over to Black and White too.
Yeah. So I mean that's cool.
That's pretty
They'd
sweet.
kind of have to do it.
Yeah.
The pricing on them is
This one here is 300 yen, so about a little bit under $4 Canadian.
Yeah.
But this next one, okay, it's like $20 Canadian, which is kind of steep. I'm not going to try to butcher the Japanese word for it, but it appears to be something similar to the Pokédex Pro.
Okay.
So there's already a Pokédex app for the 3DS. This one looks like a more advanced Pokédex. Pikachu's in the screen cap, which maybe means that it's all 656 Pokemon
I'm not sure.
rendered in glorious 3D.
Maybe
You can make them like jump and dance and do cute things. Maybe
for $20 it better be really cool.
$20 it better be really
Like
damn good.
really cool.
Yes,
Because
All-
that's halfway to Pokemon Black and White too. all on
So
its own.
if you can read Japanese, head on over to your show notes, click on through to the link in the article, and it brings you to, I believe, like Nintendo Connect or an official Nintendo page thing.
Yeah.
in
As soon
Japanese.
as it's available in English, we'll get you more concrete information on
Oh my,
that.
yes. And finally, one really quick mention, the Uncharted games.
Which have been referred to by many as their favorite movie.
Well, now they are the Uncharted motion picture trilogy, what I decided to call in the show notes. Basically, someone has decided to cut the first, second, and third Uncharted games into 2-hour and 3-hour long movies.
So if you didn't like any of the shooting or
Yeah.
various
If you
other
don't
things,
feel
in
like
bet-
actually playing the game,
if you didn't like all the mess in between your cutscenes, now you don't have to deal with that. You could just go watch all of it.
yeah, so you can spend about 10 hours watching it,
Yeah,
which
it's a
is
lot.
way better than the 20 or so hours that you spend on the games.
Yep.
Yeah,
So save you a little bit of time if that's
your thing,
your thing.
which I might end up doing that at some point.
You can just tell me about it after.
Yeah,
I'm good.
I'll probably skim through it or something.
New releases on the big screen this week. There's actually some movies now.
Yay!
All right, Pirates Band of Misfits.
British stop motion claymation. thingy.
Claymation, give it to me.
It looks
So
super exciting.
It's gonna be really adorable.
I've been seeing the trailer for this for like a year.
They don't have a lot of stuff released out, mostly
No,
because
they-
British.
They have like the 2 trailers for this and like 1 maybe sort of short thing.
Which I actually really like. A lot of movies, especially children's movies, suffer
Yeah.
from overshare because
It's true.
they figure 6-year-olds don't care that you've seen half the movie by the time you go there. But I'm not 6,
Yeah.
and I care. So
I
I
care,
actually
too.
like the tiny amounts of information. It's enough to make me want to go see it.
Yep.
They've got some sweet voice talents in there. We've got a David Tennant, Martin Freeman.
Hugh Grant.
It's gonna be good.
Mhm.
I'm really excited to see it, guys.
Also, The Raven, Victorian crime thriller.
John Cusack.
John Cusack playing a man named Edgar Allan Poe. Very unfortunate name.
We're gonna pretend that. Yeah.
In my mind, it's no relation to the author.
No,
Or
not
the
at all.
poet.
Poet by day, detective by night.
Oh,
Victorian crime thriller.
Victorian crime thriller. The class.
No,
is.
no.
We'll pretend that the serial killer is the only one who knows who Edgar Allan Poe is.
Yeah, we'll just pretend. Also, one that I'm super excited about for
Yeah.
no particular reason other than
Mhm.
Jason Statham.
Mhm.
Safe. It's like Transporter 4, but not.
You and your Jason Statham fan club can
Yeah, yeah.
be happy about that.
Yeah. It doesn't look like a very good movie, but action movie, Jason Statham.
I'll be excited about romantic comedies instead.
Yeah, with Jason Segel.
Yeah, Jason Segel. All right, and ending it off on games this week, Prototype 2.
That's it for games.
Yep.
And off the press.
That's all we got for this week, guys. See you next week.
Hey everybody, welcome to Tech Insight. We're starting off with some mobile hard drive space news.
Yes, so we all know that Dropbox, you can sync your files to the cloud, access them on the cloud, really good. It's got good app support, things like that. This week, Dropbox got some serious competition.
It's true.
So Google Drive launched, like we talked about last week, confirmed for 5 gigs of free storage.
Which is 3 gigs more than you get with Dropbox.
Yeah, and they also the cool thing about Google Drive is you got out of the box, you got a PC and a Mac app for syncing to your desktop or your laptop.
Yep.
Android and iOS apps. Well, iOS isn't quite out yet; it's in the App Store process.
Okay.
So it's been submitted.
So in the next couple
very
of
soon.
days.
Very good Android app. I have it on the tablet. Works pretty well for syncing, which is good out of the gate. No one else had that out of the gate. Dropbox came.
Yeah.
Eventually, SkyDrive, which we'll talk about in a second. Max file size of 10 gigs.
Which is pretty ridiculous.
To the point where it's almost not important.
Yeah.
Because remember, you're doing this over the internet.
And uploading 10 gigs takes a while. I mean, we've got some pretty quick internet here, and to upload our less than 1 gigabyte episode, it takes us about 2 hours.
Yeah, so that's something to think about. You can also expand your 5 gigs if you want to add another 20 gigs. It's $30 a year.
Yeah, because I mean that's the interesting thing is you get a 10 gig file size limit, but at the free account you can't even use that. So
Yeah, I just think basically they're saying our servers are ready.
yeah,
We can handle it. Our storage is built properly, that kind of thing. So it's active. Everyone with the Google account already has it. It's the very cool thing, the unique thing, is its integration with Google Docs. Oh, well, SkyDrive's integrated too. Not quite in the same way. So on your Google Drive and Google Docs are now the same web page.
yeah,
So when you go to docs.google.com, it switches to drive.google.com.
okay,
So the cool thing about that is you can actually have your Google Docs that you've created in the cloud, worked on in the cloud, sync down to your PC or your Mac through the app.
okay,
Then you can edit them on your PC while you're on the go. Next time you get on the internet connection, it'll update your Google Doc, and then next time you go to your Google Doc, it'll all change.
okay,
But, and I was a little worried about that because I don't want that. I don't want my Google Docs in my Google Drive.
yeah,
So you can actually have a choice not to sync them to your PC.
okay,
So you can either keep it separate or go full-on integration, which is good that they gave you the choice. So that's something very tempting about that, is if you're a big Google Docs user, this is a much easier way to keep your Google Docs accessible and backed up in case there's a Google outage and things like that. The other important thing to know about Google Drive is everyone actually got a bump up in storage space in Gmail this week.
Yeah, we've got it bumped
10
up to
gigs.
10 gigs.
Everyone
yeah.
was between 7 and 9.
Which, it still baffles me. I'm like, no, I'll take 5 gigs of email and 10 gigs of Google Drive, but it's like, no, we'll give you 10 gigs of email because you'll never use it.
Exactly, right? I've kept almost every email I've gotten since I got Gmail, and I got Gmail a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I've used less than 2 gigs.
Yeah, so it's kind of one of those things where they probably tell you have 10 gigs, but you don't actually have 10 gigs until you need that 10 gigs.
So what we just described sounds like an excellent service. It works really well. I've tried it on my PC. I've tried it on my tablet. So far, I like it. One thing.
Yes.
We've talked about Google privacy issues before. Now, in the Google privacy agreement, you agree that any data you put on their service, this includes the Drive, it includes Docs, it includes Gmail, any data that passes through and is held on their services, they can redistribute, they can license, they can sell, they can do whatever they want with it.
Yeah, so it's free reign to take your stuff and go and make a profit off it if they feel they'd like to.
Now, is that going to happen?
Probably not.
Probably not. But it's the fact that it's there.
Yeah, it's definitely an important thing to note that especially with all the services that you can sign up for these days on the net, whether it's a social networking service or some sort of online storage service or a photo service, something like that, it's always important to make sure that you understand the terms and agreements because it is a situation where if you take that world-class photo and you post it on a site that says, hey, if you put it here, we can do what we want, all of a sudden you could be, taking work that you could have made money on and now it doesn't even belong to you.
Yeah. Now, I mean, I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm not saying that's Google's intention.
Yeah.
They really just want to know what you're up to so they can target the ads and make more money.
Yeah.
That's why they do it. But it's something to be aware of, and it's why I'm choosing not to use Google Drive.
Yeah, so Skydrive also got some updates this week, but it's important to note that Skydrive doesn't take...
Yeah, so Skydrive and Dropbox have no such preservation in their terms of service. They have no right to use any of that content at all. In any fashion, whereas Google has the same terms for all their services. So unless that's changed, it's something to be aware of. So the updates to Skydrive. Skydrive before was 25 gigs of online storage.
And it's been around for quite some time.
Yeah, the problem is it's useless.
Yes.
You couldn't get at it from your mobile, really.
Yeah.
You can use it from the web and upload things through the web interface.
But you had no access from a PC, which is really the big one.
No syncing. You'd have to go in Internet Explorer, go to skydrive.com, which is just a waste of time. I've never used it, and I signed up for the beta.
Yeah.
Right? So what launched this week was apps.
Yeah, so you got a PC client, a Mac client, an iOS client, an Android client, and it's already built into your Windows Phone.
No Android client yet.
Oh, okay, no
Which is a
Android
bummer
client?
for me, because if I had an Android client, I would never need anything but Skydrive.
All right.
So what's happened is that 25 gigs is no more.
It's true.
Kind of.
Kind of.
So if you sign up for Skydrive now and you don't have a live account, you'll get 7 gigs, which is still ahead of everyone else. It's more than Google Drive, it's more than Box.net, and it's well more than Dropbox.
However, if you've had a Hotmail or a live address anytime within the last few years or even the last couple of months, it's a good chance you already had that service auto-activated like Gmail does or Google does for all their stuff. And you can go in and save your free upgrade.
Yeah. So if you've had Skydrive activated at any point in time in any way, even if you've never actually used it, log in with your live or Hotmail account, go to skydrive.com, and there'll be a banner that says, free 25 gigs, and activate that, because then you're getting 25 gigs with the syncing apps.
Yeah.
That you just tried out the Mac app, seems to work really well.
Yeah, it works just like Dropbox app, and that's one of the things we always liked about Dropbox.
So that's the thing, is that the Skydrive app looks exactly like the Dropbox app.
Yeah.
Puts
a folder somewhere on your computer, the stuff you put in it ends up on the web.
Exactly. And it works quite well that way. So really good service there. 2 gigs is the Mac file size there. That's way more than big enough.
Definitely.
On Dropbox, it's 300 megs, but even that's more than big enough.
Yeah, unless you're trying to store large video files, which really, this is the wrong type of service.
It would
to
be
be
better
using.
and probably faster to buy a hard drive, put the files on it, and ship it.
Absolutely.
The good thing about SkyDrive, which I think really puts it well and ahead, although it really needs an Android app, is cheaper additional storage.
Yeah, so you can buy an additional 25 gigs or 50 gigs for $25.
Yeah, you can buy an extra 20 gigs for $10 a year. That's nothing.
Yeah.
That's $20 for 50 gigs. It's $100 for 50 gigs on Dropbox.
Yeah.
Now, that gives you the 50 plus your 2,
Yeah.
but that's still...
But with SkyDrive, if you've already got the 25, it's plus your 25.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you go and spend $25 on 50, boom, 75 for $25.
Which is, and to be honest, I'm never going to use more than my 25.
No.
I don't even use my 2 on Dropbox.
True.
So I think SkyDrive is an excellent service. You can integrate on the web with your photos. And if you put photos on Skydrive, it'll integrate them to your photo part of live.com, which I don't really use, but if you're into that, there's integration there to be looked at, as well as with the free Office Live apps. So like limited Word and things like that. So if you want to edit the documents in Skydrive on a PC that doesn't have Word, you can still do that through the web. So that's really cool. And if you have a Windows phone, for the love of God, take advantage of this because it's
just
tight.
hardwired into everything.
So the big problem I think here is if you use every platform around, you got to use Dropbox.
Yes.
There's no Linux client for anything else, more or less, and there's no BlackBerry client for anything else. And Google Drive doesn't have iOS yet, and SkyDrive doesn't have Android. So if mobile's your big thing, maybe something else. But I think personally, SkyDrive is my winner.
Yeah, absolutely.
Most storage, even if you don't get the free 25 gigs, file size is more than reasonable, decent integration, easy to use, and Microsoft's a reliable company. So is Google. I mean, Dropbox has proved to be, but a lot of these other startups are like, do I really want to put my data there? Microsoft's not going to can it because they can't. They're in a position where they have to be.
And we should mention that if you can't get that 25 gigs, you get 7 gigs to start.
Yeah, which is
still the most. So
yeah, so I think SkyDrive's the winner, even if you're a Mac user.
Yeah,
because you can still get it on your iPad, your iPhone. So yeah, check them out. Try them, of course. I've tried all but SkyDrive just yet.
There's a good chance they've all already been activated.
Yeah, so check it out. Google Drive's the newest. I think probably you're better to look at SkyDrive, but if you really hate Microsoft for some reason, Google Drive's a good option as well.
So moving on to Canadian mobile technology news this week. It looks like paying with your cell phone is actually closer than we expected.
So what I didn't know was that Rogers, Bell, and Telus, the big 3 carriers here, made a company together called Endstream.
It boggles my mind that they made a company
that they could sit at a table and
without throwing spears.
Yeah. So they've actually, Endstream, they actually formed the company a while ago, but they're moving forward very quickly to form a mobile wallet. So essentially, like you said, paying with your cell phone, especially with Android phones getting NFC.
Yeah.
The iPhone rumored to be getting NFC.
Pretty strong rumors the iPhone 5 is going to have NFC.
So they've sat down with the big banks in Canada, CIBC, TD, RBC, Scotiabank, and BMO.
Well, that's the other thing about Canadians, too, is unlike America, where there's about 100 different banking institutions, we only have usually around 10 or less.
Yeah,
so it's much easier to negotiate all this.
And the thing is, most Canadians are with the big banks. There aren't a lot of credit unions around. There are some, but they're not as popular as they are down in the States.
Yeah.
So really easy to market the whole country at once. And what I didn't know, and this is why they're pushing it forward so quickly, we actually have the most tap-enabled POS, like point of services, per capita in the world.
Yeah.
It's something like 20-something% of the whole country, people who are selling things have those.
Like things like PayPass and stuff.
Yeah, well, essentially PayPass, Visa PayWave, and that kind of crap.
Yeah.
But basically, this is going to be integrated into those kind of systems, so it makes it really easy for Canadian companies to impose this in Canada, as opposed to something like Google Wallet to try and break in. So I think it'll be really interesting to see what happens here.
Is there any kind of estimation on time frame?
Well, it's going to be dependent on a lot of things, right? I think they'll launch the service this year is what they're talking about, as soon as they finish the agreement with the banks. And a lot of the Canadian banks are really big on mobile as well. I mean, Scotiabank and CIBC have really fantastic apps. TD's been pushing their app as well. BMO needs to work on it. But all our banks are out there, so I think this is something that will come together relatively quickly.
Cool.
So look for the service to launch probably this year, but I mean, how are we going to be using it? Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't own a phone with NFC.
I don't either.
Yeah, so if the iPhone 5 has it, we might both own one in a couple months.
It's true.
But time will tell. And how will if it's integrated with your bank, then that's very easy. You can probably use existing equipment at the store level. But if that needs to be changed, that's something else to deal with entirely.
And you don't want to lose your cell phone.
Oh, absolutely. So there's going to be hopefully something there. I don't know how they're going to do it, but oddly enough, this is the time you want the big companies doing it.
Yeah.
So it becomes really accessible.
And it's done properly.
Yeah, absolutely. Rogers can't afford to screw over their clientele in a really competitive wireless market. They don't want to lose people to Bell or Telus, let alone Wind or anyone like that.
Yeah.
And this could be a really big thing for why you would want to stick with the big 3 carriers. Do you think Endstream is going to be supported on a Wind device? Probably not.
No.
Yeah, so that's also something to keep in mind.
Last bit of news this week, very quickly, we're talking about Intel's first cell phone.
Yes, they've made, Lava has made the cell phone, never heard of them. It's called the Zolo X900.
Which is incidentally also the name of a dog from Mexico. This type of dog. They're like black and hairless. And
I thought you meant like a specific dog.
No, it's
Like
a type
the,
of
like
dog.
the Mexican prime minister has a president. I
No,
don't
it's a
know.
Mayan dog.
They're not Mexican.
Yeah, I know, but you
Yeah.
know. Same
So
set of hills.
the reason we wanted to talk about this, the reason we put it in, this is the first cell phone that's going for sale with an Intel processor.
Yeah.
Because Intel's been really lacking in the mobile world with the failure of the Atom in the netbook because no one buys netbooks anymore, and ARM starting to take over the netbook space. ARM is dominating in the mobile space.
Yeah.
So Intel, this is Intel's stab back at it. It's got the Atom Z2460. It's an Android device. A lot of people are saying it performs very similarly to a similar ARM device.
Yeah.
So basically, they nailed it on performance, which is good. Other than that, the phone's nothing to write home about.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of nice features about it. It's got a fairly high screen resolution at 1024 by 600, and it also features a 1 megapixel front-facing camera,
Yeah,
which
which is
is
nice, yeah.
more than we typically see on a front-facing camera, and the rear camera is 8 megapixels. But overall, it's a fairly traditional-looking Android device. But we are seeing now a 1.6 gigahertz Atom processor
Yeah.
in here, and maybe that's going to mean a little bit more development opportunities in the future for other people using Intel.
So what I think
processors.
could happen here is a lot of smaller companies are now going to be able to make cell phones.
Yeah.
Because Intel will just sell out their chips. Intel's a chip maker. Samsung makes ARM chips.
Yeah.
So Samsung's going to have a Samsung chip in the Galaxy S3.
Yes.
You know, that's just how that's going to work. They don't want an Intel chip. And a lot of the other companies like that. Apple makes their own silicon now. You know, Samsung technically makes it, but they design it, right? So they don't want an Intel chip. So this could break out into a lot of smaller companies actually being able to put devices together, which could make the Android and Windows Phone marketplace more interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we'll have to wait and see if anything exciting comes out. At least they didn't flub their first phone.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, and that brings us to the end of Tech Insight for this week.
It's kind of alive.
Nah, it's still dead.
Oh.
Hey everyone, welcome to Mad Science this week. Sean's not here because he has an exam, so now we're joined by Scott.
Hello. I've been on the segment before.
It's true. A few times.
Yes, and we thought we couldn't not do it without
No.
Sean because there is some science stuff, pretty
There's-
exciting stuff.
Yeah, something that I was really excited to talk about, and I realized Sean wasn't here, and then Scott brought it up, so I couldn't say no.
So we're talking about space mining.
Yeah.
Actually, people wanting to do space
Yeah.
mining. I can't remember the name of the company, but they basically had this big press conference. Google it. Go to the docs. Look at the link. They had a big press conference this week about
Yeah.
how exactly they plan to mine asteroids in space.
Yeah. Starting as soon and as little time as 2 years.
Yeah, so in 2 years they won't actually be mining.
Yeah.
But they'll be scoping out what they want to mine and doing the
Sending
math on
out-
how to get it.
Yeah, sending out probes, picking out the asteroids they want to mine.
Yeah, evaluating what's there to be mined, things like that. So basically, because this is a very, when you just put it that way, it sounds ridiculous.
Yeah.
They're not looking to go out and bring asteroids to Earth.
Although that is one of the options.
Yeah, down the road. But what a lot of people don't realize is a lot of asteroids come pretty close to us all the time.
Yeah.
We're in space. There's lots of other stuff in space. So what they want to do is kind of pick up those asteroids that are nearish to the
Yeah.
planet, bring them closer. Now, this is where I get uncomfortable with it.
Yeah.
Is you were saying it's either they want to bring it to the moon and in
Yeah.
the moon's orbit, or even bring it into Earth's orbit.
so that they can really quickly mine and bring stuff back instead of going to the asteroid where it currently is and then finding somewhere midpoint to refuel.
See, I think it kind of makes sense to bring it and keep it somewhere close, because otherwise it's going to take a lot of
Yeah.
effort and calculation
It's a
and
refueling
fuel.
thing that's
Yeah.
that's the biggest issue right now.
But at the same time, do I really want them bringing an asteroid into Earth's orbit?
No.
Because one small move and then we're not existing anymore.
Oh no, Bruce Willis, we need your help.
Yeah, or even worse, right?
Yeah.
So it could be fairly interesting. They got a lot of big names involved
like
in it.
really big tech names.
Sergey Brin from Google,
Yep.
a couple other guys from Google, a couple guys from Microsoft who don't not with Microsoft anymore. James Cameron.
Yep.
And he usually only signs on if stuff's serious. He's
Yeah.
not like
He
a
is
frivolous investor like
No.
some of the other tech guys tend
he
to
is
be.
really serious about science, so it's got to be pretty good if he's got his name attached to it.
Yeah, so what they're saying is short term, 2 years, we're going to launch the Acrid 100 series. And those are, like you said, the scouts. So they're going to go out and
Yep.
evaluate the asteroids, see whether it's going to be worth it to mine it. And the things they're going to be mining are basic things, really.
Yeah.
Iron, nickel, stuff that we have lots of, but that's mainly what's in asteroids.
Yeah.
But the big bonus is going to come from heavy metals, special metals,
Platinum.
gold,
Yep.
things like that, and those are heavily used now, and the prices are going way
Yeah,
up.
because it's used in everything. Like, this has a little bit of precious metals in it, and
Not to mention precious metals. I'm a chemical engineer, so throw that spin on it. Used for catalysis. So every time you put some fuel in your car or
Yep.
make some plastic, almost all of those are catalytic processes, and all those catalysts are platinum. So if you're making plastic for 7 billion people, that's a lot of platinum.
Yeah.
And we're running out, and the prices are going insane. I think it's something like $1,500 a kilo.
Yeah.
Or a pound or an ounce, actually. Probably sounds more accurate. So that could be really good. They're also saying they can mine the water on the asteroid,
Yeah.
which is ice, to make rocket fuel.
Yeah, so that they can jet something there, refuel as they're mining, and then send it back.
Yeah, or the next step would be to jet something there and then send it on somewhere else.
Yeah.
So if you want to say, if we're going to Mars, well, we can launch out of the orbit, only have to pack enough fuel to get to the asteroid,
Yeah.
and then they could
Refuel
refuel and go forward, which is kind of attractive. With water, you can split it and make your hydrogen, your oxygen, which
Yeah.
is what's used in most rockets today. So pretty exciting. We'll have to see what happens after 2 years, I guess. Because if they don't find enough asteroids, or maybe it's going to get ridiculously expensive.
Yeah.
We'll have to see.
Well,
It's something like
they're already talking ridiculously expensive, but if they can prove that this is a viable option, then
yeah, because I think
Should
that
be
right now
alright.
the rule of thumb is it's something like $10,000 to launch a pound of matter into
Yeah.
orbit. So when you talk rockets and rocket fuel
Yeah.
and payload and all that, it gets like hundreds of millions of dollars, and they're talking like tens of millions a
Yeah.
launch.
well, they're planning to send more than just one probe. up
Absolutely,
there, right?
yeah.
in
They're
2
they're
years.
working many small craft
Yeah.
as opposed to big craft.
I think I heard somewhere like 12 or 17. That number kind of rings a bell. So
And the same kind of thing is going to happen for the actual mining. Is you're going to send
Yeah.
lots of smaller craft to go do individual mining, and then they can come back, which I guess is cheaper to run lots of little
yeah, then one really
spaceships
big one.
than one large one. So pretty exciting, and they seem to be very serious about it.
Yeah.
It's not just like some jokey press conference. We're going to do
Yeah,
this.
it's not some eccentric millionaires getting together and for a laugh.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. Other space news this
Yes,
week.
This one in about a week from now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very soon. We've talked about SpaceX tons of times.
Yep.
They're basically the biggest commercial space operation out there. They've got permission from NASA,
Yep.
finally, to launch their rocket. They're launching a Falcon 9, which is their kind of medium. It's not the heavy, but their medium-sized rocket with what's called the Dragon spacecraft, I
Yep.
believe, and it's a cargo one to resupply the ISS. And why this is big is this is the first time a commercial rocket will launch and actually dock with the ISS.
Yeah, so it's not a country docking at the ISS. It's a company.
Previously, I believe it's only been shuttles in the Soyuz spacecraft.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure. So this will be the first time anything else has docked with the ISS. So it's pretty big.
it's pretty exciting.
And we've been waiting. This was supposed to happen last November.
Yeah,
Now it's finally set.
I believe
May.
we even talked about it sometime last year.
Yeah, we probably did right before that launch was supposed to
Yeah.
happen because it got washed fairly late. So this will be pretty exciting. Elon Musk is the CEO of SpaceX. Is really set. The date is set with NASA, so they kind
Ooh,
of
exciting.
have to go for it, and they'll be launching from Cape Canaveral. So
Hopefully the weather holds out. 'Cause it's spring. It's kind of
yeah, it can be a little
variable
volatile,
weather.
and any kind of weather can mess this kind of stuff up.
Yeah.
It's very sensitive to that.
like,
So
oh, there's one cloud. Cancel it.
forget it. Hopefully, good news for SpaceX.
Now moving on to something Sean would really like.
Okay, we figured we should put something in for him since
Yeah.
he's not here.
3D printing.
Yeah, Sean's
Affordable.
a big fan of 3D printing,
Oh my,
and a
yeah.
much bigger fan of affordable 3D printing.
Yes.
Sean's talked about, you guys have talked about the MakerBot
Yep.
printers quite a bit. They're almost like under
They're-
$1,000.
Yeah, I believe there was one that was on sale recently for like $700.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's getting approachable. There's this new one called, I believe it's the.
Uh-oh.
It's got a really strange name, Solid Doodle, and that's why I
Wow.
didn't remember the
Okay,
name.
I didn't know that going in. That's a hilarious name. I
Yes.
love it.
It is by someone who used to be with MakerBot.
Yeah, so former MakerBot
Yeah, so it's
people.
not officially MakerBot,
No.
but it's the same kind of vein of
It is.
ideas. And it'll do 6 by 6 by 6 inches,
Okay, that's,
which is
pretty good
reasonable.
size.
It's
you can print some decent action figures of that size.
you can print a lot of decent things at that
Yeah.
size. Even prototyping parts and stuff like that for small stuff. So it's good. And a lot of them, like you were saying, were more like 4 inches
Yeah.
by cubed. So pretty decent.
Especially around this price range. A lot of them are smaller than 6 by 6 by 6.
So we don't have the exact price, but sub $500.
Sweet. It's like
Which-
$499.99.
likely, yeah, for that model, which is pretty cool. You can pre-order it now if you want to check out the Engadget link on the Almost Friday Show site. And apparently it's built extremely strongly. So
Excellent.
the actual unit's about 18 to
Yeah.
2 feet by cubed, and they're saying a 200-pound man could stand on top of it while it's printing.
Interesting.
So they're kind of touting, this isn't just some
Yeah, this
crappily
isn't-
put together,
this
maybe
isn't
it'll
your,
work.
This isn't your hobbyist one. This is your prosumer model.
Yeah, it's going to work. It's an actual product. It's
you
not.
can put this in your workshop. You
Yeah,
don't
it's
have
not a
to-
hobby type thing.
Yeah, you don't have to be gentle with it. Just throw it in your
So
workshop.
pretty exciting. If Sean gets one,
We will be printing all the things.
yeah, if he ever finds any kind of money, he's just gonna have hundreds of these. So I'm sure he'll keep you up to date
Oh, boy.
on that and any other future.
Stay tuned for Sean's review.
yes, in the 3D printing. And that's it from Science this week. Hey everybody, welcome to Behind the Lens this week. It's been a bit of a lull week for camera news. It was good, a little down after NAB. But we do have some news from Adobe this week. If you're a big user of all their Creative Suite software, Photoshop, that kind of thing. CS6 came out.
It's true.
Minor upgrades kind of everywhere, pretty similar. If you've got 5.5, you can upgrade for free to 6.
Yes.
And there's paid upgrades from all the way back to maybe CS3 or 4. 3.
Yeah, CS3, yeah.
But what's really exciting is they're launching what they're calling Adobe Creative Cloud.
Yeah, now Creative Cloud on the whole is basically the idea of renting the applications that you want. Now they've done this before on sort of an individual basis, but now they're looking at a whole package system. So for $50 a month for a year, you have to sign up for the full year to get it at $50 a month, otherwise it's $75 a month. What it does is give you access to every application they make in the Creative Suite, as well as all their online syncing and storage systems, so that you can edit, a Photoshop file on your work computer and go home, and those updates will be there and all that kind of stuff. So it's really cool if you're in a scenario where you might buy, Photoshop and Premiere and Lightroom, but you don't necessarily have a need for some of their web development tools and Illustrator, but all of a sudden you've got a job where you need those. Well, you don't have to go and fork out $600 to $1,000, depending on what your cost point is if you're upgrading or if you're a student or things like that, just to get that software for the few gigs that you need it. Because with this Creative Cloud, you have access to all the software as much as you want of it, as long as you keep paying that monthly fee.
Yeah, I think what we kind of decided before we were talking about it before the show was that it offers a good amount of flexibility.
Yeah.
Because even if you don't sign up for that whole year, let's say you have a gig like you were saying, and I need After Effects,
Yeah.
but only for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Well, I can sign up for 2 months at $75 a month. And in a year, that's a lot cheaper than buying After Effects. And even if I only do that once a year for a couple of weeks,
Absolutely.
way cheaper than buying After Effects, something like that.
And if you buy more than one program, it pays for itself.
Yeah.
Because you're looking at about $600 a year, and most of these applications at full face value are about $1,000. Photoshop's $1,000, Premiere's $1,000, After Effects is $1,000. So it makes sense. I mean, we did the math on buying the Master Suite. The Master Suite's about $2,600. So you would have to, you'd get 4 years of this service for that price.
Yeah.
And because you're buying a service that's allowing these apps to continue to evolve, you know that a year and a half from now, when CS 6.5 or CX7 is going to be there, you're just going to go, okay, well, out with the old and with the new, and you won't have invested $2,700 to get there.
Not to mention you get their sync services as well, which are pay services.
Yeah, and they've put a lot of effort into web development as well as tablet development. So there's applications to take your images and your content and build portfolios and brochures that are specifically designed to be used on an iPad and be interactive and work in that screen resolution and stuff. So they're really making it so that all this content is moving around in their ecosystem and then going out to mobile devices.
It's definitely a really good option for a lot of people, especially if you don't pay student prices.
Yeah.
If you're looking at the regular pricing structure, this makes a lot of sense. If you're a student, it makes a little bit less sense.
Yeah, depending on what you're interested in, you can get 2 or 3 or 4 applications for less than $1,000 as a student.
Even the suite is not even $1,000, I believe.
Yeah, so
Not the full suite, but I think the creative suite, the other ones are under $1,000.
as a student, it becomes a little less cost effective. But what is really cool is if you already have anything from CS3 or forward, you can get in for the first year for $30 a month.
Yeah.
Which is pretty great. So if you had CS3 and you've been holding off to upgrade to CS6 for Photoshop or something, at $30 a month, that becomes a fantastic tool to at least get you a year of this service, and then the year after go, okay, well, what am I still using?
Especially
What do I wanna
if
buy?
you're somewhere back in like CS3 or CS4.
Yeah, then there's a pretty substantial amount of changes.
Especially to
coming
CS5,
forward.
especially if you're looking at like a Premiere and things like that. So it'd be a good, even a trial run for a year at $30 a month isn't a big deal.
Absolutely.
So I think they put together a really good service.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, and you can check out a bunch of their apps online and read more about the service. But if you are someone who uses a handful of the Adobe products and likes to stay up to date with them, I think this is definitely a cost-effective way of doing it.
Absolutely.
So moving on, we're talking about the Nikon P510 today. So we're back on a point and shoot. We've been sort of ignoring these guys for a while, but I like the P510 because it is the jack of all trades master. It does everything, and it does everything pretty well. Starting off, it's got 42 times optical zoom, which is class leading right now. That's an impressive amount of optical zoom. And what I like best about this optical zoom is they have an entirely new image stabilization system, which works insanely well.
Yeah.
Like you can sight all the way at 42, and even if you're in like moderate lighting, you can still get tack sharp images. It does an incredible job of locking in, keeping it stable, and you almost like you can use it as a telescope. You're going to go to that baseball game, you're going to zoom in on the pitcher, and you can just watch the game from your screen because it's not going to be all jumping around and everything.
See, which is going to be really good for the mom and dad who buy this to go to soccer games or whatever, because a lot of I know a lot of people will buy the big zoom camera, and be disappointed with a lot of the shots they're able to get at high zoom.
Yeah.
So, and video would be even worse, right? So
Absolutely. So on top of having amazing zoom and great image stabilization, this guy's using a 16 megapixel backlit CMOS sensor. So we're looking at a really good image processor. We're getting pretty decent low light photos for a camera in this category. We also got full high definition video recording, 1920 by 1080 at 30 frames per second. But you can also do 120 frames per second at standard definition, which is pretty sweet as well. If you want to get like some skateboard tricks or something like that. On the back, we're looking at a 3-inch tilt swivel screen, which some of the other models had, but it's always a nice feature to have, especially for video. You've also got the internal LCD viewfinder, which is great. Now, a lot of the times, we recommend a camera like this for someone who's traveling, and it's gotten a little bit better for those who do travel because they've now included GPS on the camera.
Yep.
So you'll get all your photos tagged as you're traveling through Paris and doing all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, you really get a little bit of everything, and it does everything quite well. I mean, often with these cameras, it's a situation where you get it to do a lot, but it's never great at everything. And this guy is really good at full optical zoom. The image stabilization works great. The video quality is good. You've got a great sensor in here. You've got that GPS. It's a pretty sweet camera. It also comes in this really fantastic gray and a black and a red, but I like this gray. It's pretty cool. So we definitely recommend it. I think it's my top choice in the super zoom cameras. We're probably going to take a look at the Sony CX200 soon as well, which is also pretty well spec'd. And we'll see how it compares to this guy. But you can pick up this camera now at Henry's Camera for $450.
which is a great price point for that kind of camera.
Absolutely.
Full functionality you get for sure.
For sure. And it's a 2-year warranty with Nikon.
And that would be all for Behind the Lens this week.
And that brings us to the end of the show this week. As per usual, if you want to get a hold of us, you can send us an email at contact@almostfridayshow.com.
Or email's not your thing, you can send us a short message, 140 characters on Twitter at @almost_Friday.
If you use the Facebook, which apparently a lot of you do, you can use that search bar at the top and type in the Almost Friday Show and like us and get all of our new episodes in your feed, since we know you spent some time
That's right,
on
you don't even have to go looking for it. It's just right there. You can watch it.
Yeah.
Share it with your friends.
So until next time, watch out for that neighbor across the street because he's got 42 times optical zoom that's image stabilized pretty well. So just be aware. Shoots video too, so I mean,
It's getting creepy.
now it's just all kinds of compromising stuff.
You don't even have to spend a lot of money to be a creeper now.
No.
Yeah, it's a shame.